Hey, I'm Jordan Blizzard Planet. Welcome to the Amsterdam canals. Imagine this, a world made of peanut butter, where I hopefully inspire you to flirt with your life by being Intucentric. Every episode is designed to provoke consciousness through entertaining perspectives and applied philosophy. Each week, we explore new ways of applying Planit Butter's critical and creative thinking lens to modern society. Expect societal reflections, perspective dancing, story time, and guest episodes where we visit other worlds. Thanks for joining our 83rd episode, where we'll continue to relate Planit Butter's philosophy to Earth's current society. Some of what we'll flirt with today, I love that I pivoted to saying flirt, because I flirt with life. And I was like, so what am I inviting everyone else to do? The same, flirt with life by being Intucentric. It's so fun. I hope you guys like it. Let me know. Okay, so what we'll flirt with today includes a note on openness, on oneness. I really hope this wind is okay. We sacrificed the equipment, the proper recording equipment. I need to get one of those. We need like a news reporter microphone. There's construction, wind. I don't mean to be unprofessional, guys. I'm just trying to have a good time. And look at this background. Like, I want to be able to record in these places, so I really need to get the right equipment. Like, look how cool this looks. What? I can't believe I haven't been recording outside more. What took us 83 episodes? Well, we've done some other ones. Okay. Some of what we'll flirt with today includes a note on oneness, a perspective dance with your salary, story time a la boundaries, a fun fact about peanut butter in Amsterdam, another yoga class, another country I've frustrated, a perspective dance with priorities, why how you read is how you listen, instincts and intuition, a new technique for listening to your intuition, the only productive response to passivity, a series of considerations inspired by oceans with David Attenborough, the trick to time collapsing, and more. As always, email me any questions you have about your world or Planit Butter's life approach. myplanettoyours@gmail.com. First, a note on oneness. So not only is everything interconnected, there's dirt blowing in my face outside. But I love the outdoors. I got an eyelash. Make a wish, guys. Yay! Okay. So a note on oneness. Not only is everything interconnected, we're also all always saying the same thing when it sounds different. Consider this. Episode 82, I read to you guys the list of scientific things that confirmed what I've tracked intuitively. Yeah? Torsion field reversal, precursor echo effect, the golden spiral, fractal law, echo node, Planit Butter jet ring of consciousness. Not scientific, but I wanted to throw that in there. So guys, the point is, no matter which way we slice things, we're all saying the same thing. So it's just a matter of playing to connect them consciously. That's the difference, the conscious connection. Aha. All right, now a perspective dance with your salary. Somebody said to me the other day that they have lost some of their privileges at their company, their corporate company, to work remotely internationally. And she wasn't happy about that. And she decided that she's going to stay with the company because, in her mind, her rationality was, well, other companies that permit full freedom to work and travel are not corporate companies. So I said, so you want to make more money and not be able to spend it? Think about it, guys. You're going to keep a job that just restricted what you've enjoyed most about your job just because it pays you more, but you can't do anything with the money that you're getting paid because you're not doing what you actually enjoy doing. So what? You're just going to save until you quote unquote retire? That's absurd. Don't do that, guys. All right, next. Story time a la boundaries. I got to a new hotel where the front desk guy helped me with my luggage. And then in the room, he tried to hug me with the door closed and said, more hug, more hug. I literally, first of all, my water spilled that was in my hand because I was being touched suddenly. And then I pushed him off me and go, excuse me. Dude, unprofessional. Also, boundaries. You can leave now. Thank you so much. Close the door. I go for a walk in the park, have a chat with my friend on the phone. I get back to the hotel, and in my chat with my friend, I shared with her briefly what happened, and she asked if I wanted her to stay on the phone with me when I went back into the hotel. Now, the reason I share this detail is because I said no to my friend staying on the phone with me because I want to see how I feel entering the hotel. So the reason this is valuable is because for anybody being anywhere at any time, you don't have to just be an independent woman traveling. You can also just be anywhere at any point in time by yourself or even not by yourself. Just be mindful of your sensations in your body. So while the moral support is obviously appreciated, that would dilute my clarity with myself, my way of being Intucentric. Yeah. So I said I wanted to feel it out for myself. Trucks. Oh my God. It's stopping right here too. Of course it is. When does the concrete start pouring out? Okay. So I decided I wanted to see how I felt walking back into the hotel. As soon as I walked back in, everything about my energy shut down. So I felt tight, closed, hyper aware, protective, and the dude happened to be standing right at the staircase when I was walking in too, which furthered my confirmation of we're getting the fuck out of here. So I go upstairs, I pack my stuff in the little bit that I had unpacked. I go back down and I say to him, I'm leaving. I expect a full refund. You made me extremely uncomfortable. He gave me some bullshit about brother and sisterly hugs and cultural differences. And I'm like, listen, I travel the world. This is not a cultural difference. We don't know each other. You're my receptionist. I've never had a receptionist try to hug me in my bedroom with the door closed. All right. So, again, boundaries, guys. This is how we respect our boundaries. This is awareness of our boundaries through choosing to consciously feel my own way back into the hotel. It is choosing to communicate directly with this individual. And there is a crane putting this giant piece of wood down in the street. When I did my location scouting, I did not cite the construction that would be available to us. Little, I don't know. It's like a side dish. We've got a few sauces. We've got some peanut sauce, pesto sauce, spicy mayo. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, guys, you get it. Boundaries, listening to your body, communicating directly, moving on. Let me know if you guys have any questions or if you've dealt with any ridiculous situations of any kind, similar or not similar, that are boundary oriented that you might want some perspective on. I'd be happy to help you with it. Truly. I love to empower people through boundaries. Go team. Email me, myplanettoyours@gmail.com. Now, a fun fact about peanut butter in Amsterdam. The word for peanut butter in Dutch is pindakaas, which is hilarious because it directly translates to peanut cheese. Because in the Netherlands, for a food product to use the term butter in it, there has to be a certain amount of dairy in it. And peanut butter obviously does not have dairy in it unless you put dairy in it. But typically speaking, it does not have dairy in it. So when they renamed peanut butter because of this law, they called it pindakaas and went with cheese instead of butter. So they went with a type of dairy so that the association with dairy was still there, despite there being no dairy in it. And now when people go to buy pindakaas, people who know, now this is directly from a peanut butter store I visited that I learned this, but people who know a little bit of Dutch always ask the store, oh, is there cheese in the peanut butter? Because of the name pindakaas. And then the girl has to explain the fun fact I just told you. Isn't that fun? I think so. All right, next, a note on control and responsibility. If we're unable to come up with a solution, it's likely not ours to control. Our responsibility becomes a pivot to trust in ourselves and the universe. Remember, guys, Planit Butter's definition of responsibility is the willingness to do more, less, and pivot what is within our control. So if we can't, look at all these boats passing. I love it. Hi. Yay. So fun. Okay. See, this is why we recorded here. For the human interaction, the good views, and the good time. And the wind, and the construction, and the dust in my face. I hope it makes for entertainment, right? Like, that's kind of the whole point here. Entertainment and thought-provoking pizza boxes. Oh, one of my favorite things about the parks here is that all the garbage cans have a pizza box slot for the garbage. That's amazing. Every city should have a pizza box slot. How cool is pizza gets its own slot in a garbage can? Pizza boxes. So cool. I think so. Okay, guys. Another country frustrated by my presence in a yoga class. Oh, a butterfly. Oh no, it was a leaf. But I've been getting a lot of butterflies this week. One flew into my apartment when I got home yesterday, and it stayed for literally 18 hours. 18! We had a sleepover. It was so cool, actually. When I woke up, we were synchronized because I woke up, and that's as soon as I woke up, 2 seconds later, it started going. I actually think it might have been stuck, but the windows were open all night, so like wide open. So I don't know. I think he just wanted to hang out. Anyway, guys, yoga classes. If you've been on Planit Butter for a while, you're very familiar with the problems that I seem to cause in my yoga classes because I'm very independent. I listen to my body. We're Intucentric. It's Planit Butter. Also, that's faux yoga to try to dictate my independent practice, and I will say it till the end of time. I get in trouble because I do advanced movements, and most people aren't advanced. Why should I hold myself back just because they can't keep up? You don't say to them, keep up, and but you tell me to calm down. That's not, no. Like, we all need to collectively move forward. So somebody has to do it. And if it's going to be me, that's totally fine. Hello, welcome to Planit Butter. We are leading the way of an Intucentric society. Your yoga class, that's the least of the problems, but it's a perfect example. Well, that's a good way to say it. The least of the problems and a perfect example. So I'm in this yoga class, and at the start of class, this lovely instructor, she says to everybody, proper yoga etiquette is blah, blah, blah. And you know what she says, guys? She says you cannot drink water unless everybody else is drinking water when she says so. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, lady. Yoga etiquette? That is not yoga etiquette. You dictating when people can drink water in a hot yoga class. Also, guys, when I do different things, I'm not going entirely against what I'm being advised or suggested to do. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I'm like being in sync with the class, just either advancing it or doing my own little something that's still aligned with the class. Like if everybody's standing up and doing some sort of balance thing, I might be doing a little bit more of a different balance thing, but like I'm doing something in the realm of the class because I enjoy the class environment to be around other energy doing a similar thing. We're social creatures. I like the potential of meeting people. I like the environment itself of the classroom, and I like potentially learning new moves to express my body with and practice what I've previously done. The idea of me being distracting, I'll never get over it. It's like, I've said it before, I think. I'm not responsible for dragonfly. Hi. Oh, I love being outside. I'm not responsible for your distractions. Like, do you know how fucking crazy that is? If we apply what true yoga is like, the idea really is to bring this self-centered focus from inside the classroom into the outside world. Same with meditation, right? They're all the same freaking thing. We're all saying the same things in different ways. Everything is literally the same. Same, oneness. Okay. It came time to do back bends, but it was a half back bend instead of a full back bend. So I start with the half back bend to like warm up and do the things, right? And then I'm like, my back literally was like craving the release of the full expression and extension of a full back bend. So I did it. This lady comes over to me and goes, excuse me, hun, we're actually not doing full back bends today. I said, I am. The half one hurts my back. Thank you. And she just had to walk away, right? What are you going to do? Argue with me in the middle of a yoga class? Don't think so. It's so wild to me. Heather Thrills, best yoga and boxing instructor in the world. She literally, at the top of a class, always says everything that I'm offering is a suggestion. Do entirely whatever you want to do. It's your class. You're in charge of yourself. I'm here to support your vision for yourself. And she also, my favorite story of hers, Heather Thrills, remember the name. She had a class with a couple of like 13-year-old, like young teenagers in the class, and they were giggling at the start of the class. And these other older ladies were shushing the teenagers. So what did Heather do? The best yoga and boxing instructor in the world. She told the ladies shushing the other young women, for them, don't shush other people. Don't be distracted by other people. Don't let other people distract you from you. Yeah. She said, girls, if you want to giggle, and that's where you're at today, do your giggles. It's everybody's responsibility to take responsibility for themselves. And she also gently nudged the ladies in place by saying, you're not in charge of this yoga class, I am. So she put herself as the clear leader of the class. She put those ladies in their rightful position of a yoga class, and that while, yes, it's nice when it's quiet, if it's not, the quiet is supposed to be within you. So don't let outside forces negatively impact you. So Heather Thrills made that very fucking clear, and I love her forever for it and for everything else that she is. She's an amazing human, guys. Okay. All right. Here's a juicy one. You know everything that you need to know, and everything you need to know, you will learn. I'll say it one more time for good measure. You know everything that you need to know, and everything you need to know, you will learn. Yay. Now, a perspective dance with priorities. Because I travel the world, and thankfully, and I treat everywhere like home. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Like, let's dig into that, because I say that and I feel that and I embody that, but like, let's talk about it, right? So I realized that my ability to treat everywhere like home is because my priorities don't change regardless of where I am. So I don't bend my priorities, my boundaries to meet a place or the what's supposed to be done in a place. Rather, I maintain my priorities, I show up for my priorities, and therefore I sustain my Intucentric self. And therefore, everywhere can be treated like home, because really I'm treating myself like home. It's like the cliche of home is where you are, or within yourself, or whatever. It's that, but embodied. So I really do feel so at home in my essence that anywhere I go in the world does feel like home, because fundamentally and foundationally, my boundaries, my priorities are in check, and they don't change per place. With that, each place I've noticed kind of demands different expressions of me, and these expressions are also in attunement with my priorities and boundaries, so long as I, in my Intucentric way, continue clarifying those boundaries and respecting those boundaries. So those boundaries and priorities can pivot as appropriate, but they don't change in relation to my core values. And while those can always potentially change because we're ever evolving humans, so nothing I'm saying is definitive, but this has been my recent reflection on why is it that I do feel so at home regardless of where I am? How can I feel so comfortable immersing in so many different cultures and navigating so many different places and people and blah, 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 blah. And it always comes back to me, my essence, my comfort in my own essence, because I practice self-friendship. I integrate the 3 core methods: boundaries, confidence, alignment, and I effectively make decisions using the Planit Butter Jet, ring of consciousness, intuition, sensations, action, sensations again. And that's why I'm so excited to share this book with you guys about being Intucentric, your healthy ego. Feel at home with yourself. Flirt with your life. Planit Butter's mine. Now, how you read is how you listen. Somebody was taking a peep through my book the other day, and what they said back to me, while they really loved it, which I appreciated, I could tell that they didn't really read it. So I was like, you know what? I think people read how they listen. That's just kind of what came to me. Because it's like, think about it. Do you skim and think you get it? Then you probably also half listen, think you get it. Or do you take your time with each word, processing the sentences, understand it, and then effectively communicate about it? How you read, probably how you listen. All right. Instincts and intuition. Instincts are biological. Intuition is inherent. Our egocentric selves are our conditioned selves. They override both biological instincts and inherent intuition. The egocentric mind misreads instincts because the instincts are responding from conditioning, which is our egocentric selves. The egocentric mind is disconnected from pure intuition because conditioning creates those blind spots. Being intucentric means leading with intuition while prioritizing self-control and self-expression. So the intucentric way actively transcends our conditioned egocentric selves. This enhances our awareness of biological instincts and deepens our trust and intuition. It matches our awareness of our conditioning with intuitive leadership, which allows us to respond more accurately to our preferred instincts. And now the preferred instincts are probably the ones that are most connected to your ideal self. Simply, being intucentric creates the space for awareness, expansion, and self-evolution in the most aligned and empowering way. This way of being ultimately serves the best interest of all and formulates a stronger connection with all. And on that note, we don't have to prove ourselves right to trust our intuition. This is something I play with a lot. And I've been thinking about it for a really long time because it's something I've definitely caught myself doing. While the universe's symbols are affirming and we are co-creating. So it's our responsibility with the universe. Yeah. And so sometimes I think it's easy for humans to want to feel justified in behaviors or actions by having this sensation of being right. But whatever we do is what's meant to be, which makes us quote unquote right. So if we trust our intuition, especially, or the practice of trusting our intuition, then we really create that space of allowing ourselves to just know that we're right because we're following our intuition, leading with our intuition. And now, building off of this is a technique for listening to our intuition. This is a little bit of a silly one, which is why I hope it's really helpful, because I've been using it and I think it's really helpful. I've been saying to myself, whoa, oh shit. Hey guys, we had to move inside. My hotspot stopped working. So we're here. All right, let's wrap this baby up. A technique for listening to our intuition. When we say the phrase, body go, we're giving permission to our body to effectively make a decision for us. That way, our mind can receive the information from our body rather than our mind overriding our body, because our mind tends to override our body very quickly in our conditioned mind and in how quickly we think as humans. So when we learn to prioritize our body, we can also continuously practice prioritizing leading with our intuition, being intucentric. When we say body go, we're saying, okay, body, tell me what I need to know. And body go is just kind of like a funny way to do it. So I've been walking around the streets in my little porta bops, as I talked about in episode 82. And when I know not everybody necessarily goes for little walks around all the time or whatever your thing is. The point is saying body go in any situation is like a light, playful way to give the permission to your body to lead you. So previously, the example that keeps popping into my head, because I was on Christina Hutchinson's show, The Voices in Our Head, and she asked me a very specific question on the show that my brain I kind of spiraled and never answered it. But she was asking me to give the example, which I told her I was I had lunch with somebody and they asked me if I wanted to keep walking with them or if I wanted to go home. And in that moment, intuitively, I just was like, 1 second, let me feel out what I want to do. And I literally stood on this street corner and I put my hands this way toward that direction to keep walking with this person, or that way to keep walking with myself. And the energy was pulsing literally in this hand. So I was like, okay, I know I don't want to go that way. I want to go that way. So when we say body go, we give permission again to our body to lead us, which is our intuition. And it practices releasing the egocentric version of ourselves, the conditioned mind. Because the conditioned mind is the mind that immediately goes into that mode where maybe there would have been some sort, if there's a sense of, that's just where our past experiences and our emotions kind of get all mixed up, is that conditioned mind. The Intucentric mind, the aware conditioned mind, is the one that is choosing to let the body lead. Yeah. So we say, body go. And then we touch into our body and we feel which part of us is pulling. And it's subtle, but you'll notice by giving yourself the permission. The mind, you remove the mind from the matter, actually. Oh, that's cool. Removing the mind from the matter. Most of the time people say mind over matter. We're saying remove the mind from the matter. Listen to your body. Cool. That was a good one. Now, the only productive response to passive communication is to stay direct. Do not welcome somebody else's passive communication to dictate the way you respond. Stay direct. They will have to meet you in direct communication. Passive communication doesn't get anywhere when somebody else is being direct. Direct communication gets you everywhere. So, if somebody is being passive with you, don't match them, obviously, and don't even necessarily, this is a good one. Don't call them out for being passive. Just stay direct. So, let's see, how can we put this into an example? If somebody just says something to you, like is suggesting something to you that they want you to do, but in a passive way, maybe, then just respond to them by mirroring them with a direct response. So your communication stays direct. Oh, do you mean you would like for me to do blank, blank, blank? Something like that. Because then you're responding to what you're understanding them to say in a direct way while they are being passive, and it forces them to meet you with direct communication. I do this type of thing all the time because people are passive in a lot more countries than I'd like them to be. And I don't do it for any reason other than actual clarity, because I don't communicate well with people who are passive. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Do you mean this or do you mean that? Like, just say what you mean. But we don't say that, right? So unless you can, depending on the context. But typically, I'll just ask for clarity by mirroring what I understand in a direct way, forcing them to then be direct, because I don't know what you're saying when you're being passive. Passive communication is like, that's a foreign language to Planit Butter. All right, next. This is the most exciting portion, possibly. I don't know. So I saw Oceans with David Attenborough the other day, and I was infused with inspiration for the show. So here we boogie. So when volcanoes erupt or a tsunami occurs, the volcanoes and oceans of the world do not get together and say, hey guys, don't do that. You're going to hurt the humans. So the difference, humans have an ego. Example. This is not a direct example, but it's just this idea of endless possibilities and nature, which humans are part of. So the giant black sea bass was once considered by humans entirely extinct, and then suddenly evolved into existence again. Now, while I imagine that they probably didn't entirely extinct and humans just didn't know about it, but because humans are typically historically egocentric, humans decided to declare the giant black sea bass as extinct just because they couldn't find any more. But really, they were like doing their own thing, and then boom, they repopulated. So I don't think they actually died off and came back. But I also think that is possible if that did happen. I just think the likelihood of humans just simply not being able to find or discover or identify more of the giant black sea bass led the humans, the egocentric humans, to say, oh yeah, those guys are extinct. So funny. Fucking humans. Like, why? Like, why are you sitting around deciding that a species of fish is extinct just because you couldn't find any more? That is egocentric. Unaware, unconscious, conditioned, entirely centered on our humanness rather than centered on our humanness and our relation to the universe. Intucentric. Don't label things extinct when just because you don't fucking know. It's crazy. So the point of all that, even though those did not connect, I wanted to just make the joke about volcanoes and tsunamis happening and how the fact that volcanoes and tsunamis, and oceans don't get together and say, hey guys, you're going to hurt the humans. But humans get together and say, hey guys, don't do that. You're going to hurt the fish, if they were like going and killing fish or whatever. Thankfully, the people who labeled the fish as extinct didn't kill the fish, at least that we know of. But also, I eat fish. So why am I talking about killing fish? Because there's a way, I don't know. Is there a way? It's all part of the system of life. We have egos, so we're aware of it. And it makes it, our morals and our values get all tangled up in there. Humans, big responsibility. So much is within our control, and so much is without our control. Which is why being Intucentric is the most empowering approach to being human. Take responsibility for what you can control, and recognize where you're not in control. Yay! Now, how cool that migrating species that aren't humans don't need legal documents. And that's not supposed to be a political commentary. It's actually entirely not. I just thought it was so cool when I was watching Oceans, how all these cool fish just kind of travel the world freely, intuitively. It's fucking amazing. Thankfully, like me, for now. Well, I have legal documents, so not like me, but I do my best to intuitively boogie. Anyway, another thing that inspired me from this documentary, just because something is legal does not make it a good reason to do it. Same thing for not doing something because it's illegal. Again, this is where our values enter the mix. Here's one of my favorite ones. Humans act like becoming extinct is something we need to change. I'm just going to let that one sit. Enjoy. And why do we talk about preserving things when we could talk about evolving, unless the preservation is in the interest of evolution? I've got questions. If anybody has any thoughts on that, email me, myplanettoyours@gmail.com. I would love to wonder with you. And lastly, on this ocean's endeavor, humans telling other humans the importance of other life on Earth is hilarious. That's it. Just a couple of little bippity bops in there. Lastly, a trick to time collapsing. I'm pretty sure the trick is trust in both ourselves and the universe and clarity. Time, it's not linear, and clarity does create speed. We did some research again. In cognitive psychology and quantum models of reality, the more precise your internal alignment is, the faster external convergence can happen. When ambiguity is low, resistance is low. When resistance is low, then pathways collapse more efficiently. Time collapses more efficiently. So, when we have that clarity and the trust in ourselves and the universe, then it goes zoop. At least that's how I interpret it. However, that's my interpretation, and it's a measurable phenomenon in decision theory and in quantum time collapse theories. Marinate on that one. Ta-da! We did it again. Email me any questions you have about your world or Planit Butter's philosophy. I'll answer on the show if you want. myplanettoyours@gmail.com. Thanks for visiting Planit Butter, my world made of peanut butter. Oh God, it will never not make me laugh. Where I hopefully inspire you to flirt with your life by being Intucentric. Stick with me. I'll keep showing you how. It's not easy, but we can choose to make it fun. From my planet to yours, Jordan, Blizzard, Planet. See you next Thursday.